episode, I think 2 of Kia Soul's Can't Get Loud. Now's the time. It's been a couple of weeks, but now's the time where I'm going to be switching the stock alternator right down here, which is kind of dead, for this one. So the stock 90 amp alternator is dead. We're going to swap it out for this new Singer alternators 200 amp unit. Yeah, I don't have much time today, so today is just take this one out, and then tomorrow is going to be recrimp all my 0 gauge connectors on and get the new alternator actually in. So never done this before. All right, so after the first 5-second video clip of trying to deal with my alternator, switch my alternator in the car, I left off with getting the alternator out. And that was it. So it's not that difficult of a process, but the alternator didn't want to come out. I ended up knocking the belt off the pulley, so it's down in the engine compartment somewhere. Yeah. So I'm going back to the shop now, like 2 days later. I left it there, and I'm going to the shop now to deal with it. I gotta stop. I'm gonna get a new belt just because. I mean, the other belt fell off the pulleys anyway, so why not just put a new one on? This part should be pretty easy. I'll explain all the other crap I'm doing while I'm there, when I'm there. So, yeah, the belt needs to go on back down there. All right, so I just rolled into the shop and made a few pit stops along the way. The saga continues with this little monster. In Kia Soul's Can't Get Loud, and at the rate I'm going, I don't know if it's ever even going to move again. Yeah. So somewhere down right about there is where the alternator normally resides in this thing. And as I've said before, we're going to be replacing this beast, the 90 amp stock Kia alternator, with this 200 amp Singer alternator. So the pulleys are a little bit smaller. The pulley on this one's just a hair smaller than on this one. I've also picked up a new belt. I figured why not? Got the other one all dropped down in the engine bay anyway, might as well replace it. And while I was at it, I got some new top posts for my my kinetic battery. The ones that came with it right there are slightly tapered at the top, so the clamp doesn't quite clamp on there as hard as it should. So I'm going to unthread those and put these other posty things on there. The other thing I'm going to do is see if I can get in there. My fuse holder, the two ends on the power cables, and either end of the fuse holder, I don't know if you can quite see it in there. It's kind of a nasty connection right in here that wasn't done very well, not by me. But I want to replace that, crimp on some new lugs and get those replaced. I looked at everything else that was done, like my ground cables and all that. They're kosher. They're fine. I'm just going to leave them alone. And the one down by that connects onto the alternator and then goes up to the battery, that's solid as well. So I'm just going to leave that be. But it's going to be fun. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, shoot. Now that I've dropped it, I got my fancy schmancy little Harbor Freight little light. You ready? Here we go. Got my fancy schmancy light with the little, and like make it dull or off or super bright. It's got a magnet on the bottom, so I can kind of stick it up here and like so, and just have it hang there if that's what I want. I'm so cool. See you in a minute. Yep, ran into a little bit of an issue. That's the new alternator right here in place. It's all ready to go. Got the bolt in down at the bottom. It's all sitting in the cradle where it needs to. I got the tensioner bracket right here back in place. Issue is hang on, there we go. Issue is this tab right here is a little bit too tall to line up with this slot right here where I can swing the alternator back and forth to tighten up or loosen the belt. so I can't snug the alternator into place. This tab again allows the bolt hole, the threaded hole, to be up a little bit too high. It's above this slot right here now, so I can't get a bolt in there. Got to figure it out. Yeah. All right, folks. It's been a day. I'm going home with my tail tucked between my legs, and I feel defeated. Changing an alternator shouldn't be such a big thing to do, and it's not. It really isn't. But just running into these little roadblocks and stuff, these obstacles, but that's what makes it challenging. I mean, it seems like I did that just a little while ago with the brakes on one of my bicycles. That one of the local mechanics looked at me like I was crazy, and I got through that no problem. And when I went to the local auto parts places, whatever, they're big chains, but the auto parts places nearby the shop, they looked at me like I was crazy when I was telling them what I needed to do, and suggested all kinds of things like grind this out and drill that. And I'm not monkey with that. So anyway, I think I found online what I need, and I'll put a picture of it here in just a minute. I'll put that in. Anyway, I was on the phone with a couple of friends of mine, Brian and Paul, and trying to figure out solutions. We got to figure it out. We'll make it work. Anyway, 2 days in, and I don't have my alternator changed in my car. Wow. Maybe Kia Souls can't get loud. Anyway, I had in here the picture of what I found. That'll solve my problems. I'm just going to get home and get that ordered up, and hopefully it'll be here in a day or two, and I can jump back into the garage. And I think I'll just peck away at this after work, for an hour here and there, and just get it done. Once I get past this, and I've said this before, but once I get past this, maybe the rest of this build will just go smooth sailing. We'll see. Maybe they just can't get loud.